Bucket List Homestead. Day 23 of Vlogmas. Next to our last day of sharing Vlogmas with all of you. And today's a busy day. I think the whole month has been busy, but today is busy because I'm going to be doing some prepping for our Christmas Eve dinner and some Christmas dinner prep. I won't be sharing all of that with you because quite frankly, it would be a 3-hour video. But I am excited to share with you one of the things I'm doing for Christmas Eve dinner. We like to put out a spread, as we call it. Long before we knew what charcuterie boards were, we were doing this. And one of the things we're gonna be doing is brie and camembert cheese. And I love fresh French bread with those two cheeses. I decided to try and make my own this year. I've not done French bread before. I don't think I have. I'm trying to remember. I don't think I've ever done French bread. So far, it hasn't been too bad. We'll see how it goes. But it does require a lot of prep. So I actually had to start this last night.
You'll first need 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and you will use the scoop and swipe method for measurement. This is actually in the recipe. One and a half cups plus 1 tablespoon of warm water. Two teaspoons of salt. One teaspoon of quick rise or rapid rise, or otherwise known as instant yeast. And 1 tablespoon of honey. Mix all the ingredients in the bowl, and you're going to cover and let rest for 15 minutes. Now, over the period of the next 1.5 hours, you'll do 3 sets of stretch and folds, and making sure you flip the dough upside down after each set. So this was flip and fold number 1. Flip and fold number 2. This is our last flip and fold, and this dough feels amazing. I was a little skeptical at first of this recipe, but I learned I need to just trust the process because this dough felt amazing. After this final flip and fold and making sure I have flipped it completely over, we're going to set it and cover it with saran wrap and set it in the refrigerator and let it sit overnight for 12 to 14 hours.
And then I had to do a little bit early this morning.
So we had to turn the dough onto a floured surface, and we're going to be needing to cut these into 3 equal parts. And the best way I know to do that is to weigh them and then divide it by 3. So that's what I did here. And for the most part, they were all equal. Then it said to shape each part into a rectangle, and at first I was realizing mine were looking a little bit more like squares than rectangles, so I just tried to fix them. And then we're going to let these rest for 45 to 60 minutes.
So now I'm ready to bring you our next step. We have let these rectangles rest for about 60 minutes. It's actually been a little bit longer, but the morning I got a little bit away from me a little bit. It's still early, but I meant to get to this maybe about a half hour ago. So now we are going to do our next step, and I will share the link to this recipe. This is from Taste of Artisan, this recipe that I got. And this does make 3 French baguettes, which is perfect because I'm going to save one for Christmas dinner. Okay. Let's see how this goes. So we are going to take one of our rectangles, sorta, at a time, and we are going to stretch slightly. Stretch slightly. Okay. Fold into a cylinder. Okay, I really hope this is what I'm supposed to be doing. To me, that's a cylinder. Sealing the seams. Okay. Okay. And using your hands, roll the cylinders, gently stretching them to desired length, about 14 to 15 inches. Okay. I'm gonna say that's about right. All right, and then place on lightly floured surface. Oh, we need a little more flour. Place seam side up. Well, I hope I can find the seam now. There it is. Seam side up. Cover and let rest for 60 minutes. Okay. And then we just do the same with the next 2.
Christmas is just around the corner, coming up just around the bend. Holiday couldn't.
While we wait for those to rise, it could take anywhere from 45 to 60 minutes, it says. We are going to start on the whoopie pies. These are Aiden's absolute favorite. If you've been here before, you know that. And I'm going to make these exactly the way my mom's recipe is. It seems a little strange, but I promise you they are delicious.
Be sure to hit that thumbs up. And be sure to hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell so you don't miss any videos.
I'm starting the cake part of the whoopie pie. So in my bowl here I have 1 1/4 cups of sugar, 2/3 cups of shortening, and 2 eggs, and I'm just going to get these all creamed together. This is all creamed together. So in this bowl I have 2 1/2 cups of flour, 1/2 cup of cocoa, 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar, a teaspoon of vanilla, a teaspoon of baking soda, and we're going to mix this all up. I was just talking to my mom, and she just made a big batch of whoopie pies to give to the family. She does have quite a bit of family actually in Florida, within a few minute drive of her, and some of her friends. Okay, we're gonna slowly add this to the creamed mix we've got going here, and I also have 3/4 cups of milk ready to go too. Sometimes I need a little more. We're gonna see how it goes today.
Be here sooner. Holiday for family and friends. And we've got pine tree, pine cone, evergreen, mistletoe, candy cane, Santa Claus. A gingerbread woman and a gingerbread man in a gingerbread house and all. Christmas is just around the corner. Coming up, just around the bend. Christmas is just around the corner.
That is perfect consistency, so I won't be adding any more milk. I like to use a cookie scoop, so I make sure each cake is the same size. And I also like to make them bite size. Even though Aiden doesn't like them bite size, I do find them much easier to eat and make. And these freeze beautifully. I froze a bunch last year and we were eating them in February and they tasted just like I made them in December. I think we even had some for March break. I can't remember if I said my oven is preheated to 350. My old oven, I had to put it on 375. So there's my oven. I have in my notes 350 to 375 just because, like I said, my old oven did have to go to 375. So we're just gonna keep going till we get an equal amount.
Coming up, right down the line. Chestnuts roasting on the burner. Everybody knows it's Christmas time. And we've got Frosty, Rudolph, Snowball, Snowflakes, cookie dough, and that old Scrooge. Firewood, fireplace, sugar plum, jingle bells, and Santa's little helpers too.
So there's some made. So I just have a little bit of warm water, and I just like to tap any of the pieces that are sticking up and just flatten them a little bit. Okay, one batch going into the oven for 13 minutes. I just put the last batch of the whoopie pie cakes in the oven, and these have been cooling. These turned out beautifully. I definitely think I have to get a new, maybe stronger dough scoop, cookie scoop, because mine are just not working anymore. The last batch, I end up just using a tablespoon, and I did make a batch bigger just because I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to be making whoopie pies all day if I make them the smaller ones. So Aiden will be happy. There's gonna be a few big ones. So I'm just gonna transfer them to this, let them cool. We've got the last batch going, which is perfect. And then we can get back to our French bread. Okay, whoopie pies are all done. They're all out of the oven. I now have my oven preheating to 500 degrees, and I have in there my flat cast iron pizza stone to heat up, because that's what it says to do. I've also transferred one onto parchment, because again, that's what it said to do. And I think I'm supposed to do it though, seam side down. Okay, that's what I thought. So we're gonna seam this, and it says to brush off any excess flour.
Very important step, and I should have brushed off way more.
I'm gonna do my best. And now the slits. This is the part that's got me nervous. I have to say that right there though looks like a baguette, so I'm pretty impressed with myself. So with a very sharp knife, using a bread lame, which I do have, but I'm not gonna dig it out, a sharp knife, make 3 scores on each baguette. When scoring, use a swift, firm motion to ensure nice, clean cuts. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna do 1, 2, 3. Hey, that's not too bad. Having a really sharp, I'm gonna do that a little bit again. Having a really sharp knife is key. So there's one. We're just gonna wait for that to heat up and we're gonna slide this off onto the stone. So I'm gonna wait a minute because I'm not gonna use 3 pieces of parchment. I'm just gonna keep transferring one to this one. But we'll just let this sit for a minute. And the oven's almost there. I forgot, it also said to put a pan of water on the bottom rack. And I have to do this down this oven, the bottom oven of my double oven here, because it's the only one that I can do the water. So we're just gonna put that back in. So yes, a pan of water on your lower rack. All right, we are going to transfer, and I gotta do this quick, because I've got 2 more to bring over. I hope this is big enough, this stone. I really do. If not, we're gonna have to go with plan B. And I can't get this off of here. Ooh, it's hot. Okay. Oh, she doesn't quite fit. We're gonna have a little weird shape. Okay, I gotta get the other 2. I already made the slits in these ones while we were waiting for that to heat up. Okay, 2, that one fits a little bit better. You don't want you touching. I know you're open oven, I know. Okay, you're not. So I got 2 that are just a tad bit too long. They're gonna have some funky shapes. Okay. Back in. There we go. You're gonna move fast with that. Okay, so close the oven and reduce temperature to 475 and bake for 15 minutes. Then we remove the water pan after the 15 minutes, rotate the baguettes, drop the temperature to 450, and bake for another 15 minutes until golden brown. Boy, I hope these work. I am just gonna clean up my island. The whoopie pies, I'm gonna let them cool a little bit, and then we will make the filling for them. And the filling is what's the strange part, but I promise you they're delicious, so you just gotta believe me. Every year my mother makes them, and she's made them hundreds, thousands of times. And she still will say, I can't believe this was what's in the filling. I can't believe this is what's in the filling. Okay, one tip I have for you, because this is a lot to do with a lot of baking and everything. It's that time of year. I like to clean as I go. I wipe up everything. I have all my dishwasher is already loaded with all the dishes from the last mess we made. And I already washed up the few things right there. You can see the few things that I've already used that I don't like putting in my dishwasher, especially my new pottery bowl that we got at our last vintage store haul. I just find if I clean as I go, it makes things a lot less overwhelming and not so exhausting. I have issues with pain, especially in my back and my feet. So if I can just do a few dishes at a time, take a rest, I'm not standing for an hour and a half washing dishes or loading the dishwasher or wiping everything down and then trying to rest. Because I have found if I take small breaks in between, the pain's a little bit more manageable some days. Some days it's just horrible. Okay, that is all nice and clean. Next on our list is deviled eggs. So I know many people have many recipes for deviled eggs. I'm gonna share mine. Mine is simple. This is the one I grew up with. This is the one I prefer. And quite frankly, I'm the only one who eats these, so I'm gonna make them the way I like them. I'm just curious though, because my recipe is the one my mother always used, and it came from her Better Homes and Gardens cookbook, and hers was published in 1970. I do have one from 1972 that I found, and one from 1993. I'm curious to see if they changed the recipe in the 20 years these books are apart. So on my left is the 1972 one, and this is what it looks like. And on my right is the one I got when we were married for 1993, a little bit different. So right off the bat, the one from my 1993 one, there's pictures of the deviled eggs and a full recipe. The one from 1972, there is a picture of some deviled eggs down here, but the recipe is not as organized. It's not in bold print or anything, the ingredients. So we're gonna see. My recipe says 6 hard-cooked eggs, a 1/4 cup of mayo or salad dressing. I use mayonnaise. 1 teaspoon of prepared mustard. I use dry mustard, but you can certainly use prepared mustard. And a teaspoon of vinegar. In this one it says, for 6 eggs, use a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise, 1 teaspoon of vinegar, 1 teaspoon of prepared mustard, salt. They're the exact same recipe. You know why? Because it's good. You don't need to mess with it. So we are gonna go with our tried and true deviled egg recipe. Before we start on the deviled eggs, I just wanted to let you know, I just didn't have time to film it. I took out the boiling pan of water from the stove very carefully. I rotated the whole stone for the baguettes. I lowered it to 450. It says to bake another 15. I'm not gonna lie, they're already looking pretty done. I put the timer on 10. I'm gonna check it in 5 and see. They look and smell amazing. One's a little wonky, that's okay. The other, they smell amazing. I'm really excited to try these.
Last year I thought about how things can come around just like that if everyone is here to celebrate one day. We have our ups and downs, but when there's love there's always a way. And oh, this time of year we come together to celebrate. Yes, every time the snow is falling down and it is cold outside, we gather around the fireplace and no one cares about yesterday. My favorite holiday, it means so much more than words can say. And I claim that Christmas is a magic day. Sometimes I tend to forget what glory this holiday represents, but it's fair to say that Christmas is a magic day. This year I'll think about how I'm so lucky to have a place that I can come home to.
Deviled eggs are all done. I wish I had a deviled egg plate. I'm trying to find the one that actually matches my china set, my Friendly Village china set that I've been collecting. I did find this gorgeous, and now I have the eggs all on it so you'll never be able to see it, Christmas platter that actually goes with my china set. I was able to find that a few weeks ago, which was a find. I was pretty excited about that. And if I was taking these somewhere, I would have put them in a piping bag and made them a little bit prettier, but these are just for me. So, and I haven't had breakfast yet, and it's already almost lunch, so cheers. One of my favorites. So I took these out 5 minutes early. I'm glad I did. They're definitely done. I wish I'd brushed off more flour, but you know, the bottoms look great. They're not, I thought they were a little overdone, but they're not. I think they're just right. So we're gonna let these cool and we will taste test one of them today. The last thing we're going to do together today is the whoopie pie filling. Yeah, and this is the recipe that has a very strange ingredient. Like I said, my mother can never get over it. And I have tried changing the recipe a couple of times over the years with disaster results. It does not come out the same. It does not taste the same. You know what? It's once a year. It's once a year, maybe twice a year that I make whoopie pies. So I'm not worried that maybe the ingredients aren't the greatest in this. We're not eating these every day. You're going to need 1 cup of powdered sugar, and that needs to be sifted. So I just have my fine mesh sifter in here, and we're just gonna sift this out. Okay. You will need 1 cup of marshmallow fluff. And 1 cup is about half of this container. And believe me, my hands are clean. I have washed them so many times today. All right. A splash of vanilla. And up to half a tablespoon of milk. I'm just gonna add about half of a half right now, and we'll see what consistency that gets us. And then we're gonna whip it up. Oh, sorry. I can't believe it. I forgot. Here I've been talking about it. The strange ingredient. Shortening. Lard. Yep. That is it. I have tried it with butter. Nope. I have tried it without even making it with any kind of fat. Nope. So we go with the shortening. The lard. 100% pure lard. Now we whip it up. I'm gonna check that consistency. Perfect. So I only end up adding about 1/4 tablespoon altogether of milk. And that is the perfect consistency. That is exactly what we want. Pies for Christmas 2024, all filled. I had just enough filling. Sometimes I do make a double batch and there might be a couple of them that have a little bit more than they should. My mother makes a double batch. Honestly, she probably makes a triple batch because she really fills her whoopie pies, but I had just enough. I was scraping the bowl, but I had just enough. So depending on how big you make these, you may need to double the recipe for the filling. Before I leave you for today, we are going to taste test one of the French breads. We're gonna pick the one that's a little wonky shaped and see how it tastes. I will say it feels really nice. Oh my goodness, that smells amazing. All right. It's still a little too warm to cut, but we're gonna try it. I'm not even gonna put anything on it because I wanna try it just the way it is. Okay, here we go. Oh my goodness. Grace is standing right over there. She just saw my face and she smiled. It's amazing. It's not overcooked, which was what I was worried about. It really is the flour that kind of discolored it. I'll be making this again and I make sure the flour is off of it. I have a mouthful of bread, hold on. Friends, that is delicious. I will link the recipe down below. It really wasn't that difficult. It's just something, if you know you're gonna be making these, you need to make them the day before for that 12 to 14 hour rise in your refrigerator. This is delicious. This is gonna go so well with that cheese, camembert, the cheddar, the brie. Grace is really gonna like this. Oh, and the crust is nice and chewy and crisp. It worked. I'm so proud. That was delicious. That wraps up day 23, friends, of Vlogmas. Tomorrow's video will be out at 9 a.m. I put it out a little bit early just because it is Christmas Eve. And I will be honest with you, it is something I pre-did. I worked on it for several weeks and then I lost it all. My laptop it didn't crash, but something happened and I lost a lot of my footage and I had to redo the whole video again. So there may be some bloopers in the blooper video that I have coming out for you tomorrow for Christmas Eve. Kind of my little gift to all of you to see, you know, just how things do not go 100% here all the time at all. And so it should be fitting that there be bloopers in the blooper video. But I did my best to make sure it wasn't too bad. And it was a lot of work. It was a lot of fun. This is definitely a labor of love. We all have laughed at it several times. We've watched it a couple of times and have laughed. So I hope you all enjoy it. I will wish you all a very, very, very Merry Christmas. And I want to thank you all for joining me this year, my new subscribers, my subscribers who have been with me the last 3 years since I started my channel. I have big plans for 2025. I feel like I said that last year, but I do. I have big plans for 2025. There's 3 collaborations I am going to be joining in January that I'm so excited to bring you. One, I am actually co-hosting with my friend Tanya from Nightfall Homestead, and we'll be talking more about that after the holidays. So make sure you hit the bell so you're notified when new videos come out. And we will see you after the new year and talk about the pantry challenge, the 2 collaborations that I'm going to be part of, and just how our Christmas went. I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas. God bless you all. Again, thank you for joining me here in this crazy ride we call YouTube. Until then, friends, take care. God bless you all, and we'll see you soon.